Welcome to Empowered. I'm Elizabeth Naumovski. We all look at our face in the mirror and see the same face every day. Now, have you even thought about your facial features and your success? And if your facial features are actually the reason why you're not an executive and just stuck in middle management or lower? And how do we get ahead with the face and the features that we were born with? Today, I'm joined by Shunyuan Zhang, Assistant Professor of Marketing at Harvard Business School. She's here to talk about the relationship between charisma and other particular facial features, celebrity visual potential, using artificial intelligence and opportunities to enhance our image. Welcome to Empowered. Thank you so much for being here today. So
thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you for the warm introduction.
Oh my goodness, I can't wait to do this show. I want to talk about what makes you what makes you do all of this research and why focus on facial features?
Yeah, I guess the two major motivations. I mean, first, I'm a marketing researcher, and I look at marketing practice. It has long been a mantra that salespeople should be, spokespeople should be attractive. But now the question is there more than just attractiveness affecting someone's likelihood of gaining fame and influence? So I guess this was the major motivation that led us to explore what we term celebrity visual potential, or CVP. And then the second motivation was that, was about my research. My research interest is focused on artificial intelligence and social media influencers. And through my conversations with companies that use influencers, it seems that selecting influencers with the right traits, right facial traits, was a challenge for them. And I was just intrigued by the idea of, creating this scalable AI model to augment this process by predicting whether a visually depicted influencer has enough charisma to evoke good reactions from consumers. Now, why facial features? Because face is one of the key important cues that how we form a first impression or perception about each other.
Okay, so let's go back to, explaining what CVP, or celebrity visual potential, is, and the rationale behind selecting specific facial features that are linked to celebrity visual potential. Oh my gosh, that's a mouthful. And basically, it's the shape of your eyes, symmetry, cheekbone prominence, your lips, everything that basically enhances what you look like.
Exactly. I mean, as to be more specific, there are 11 facial features that we identify. So just quickly back to your question, Elizabeth, about CVP. By definition, is the visual likelihood of someone becoming a celebrity. So it can be a social media celebrity or a corporate celebrity. It's basically a comprehensive quality considering both inner personality traits and outer physical appearance. So, and I said 11 facial features, and you just gave examples about some of them. So we selected these features based on theories suggesting their influence on celebrity potential. And I think shape of eyes, you give this example. So if you think about large eyes, on the one hand, can improve CVP because they enhance perceptions of warmth and trust. But on the other hand, decrease CVP because they decrease inferred dominance. So when you have these kind of opposing forces, it's then a empirical question, which effect will outweigh the other? And we're going to answer, in this research, we answered the questions with more than 20,000 face images.
Oh, wow. And so what we want to be clear about as well, we're not telling people to go and augment their face in any way, to change their looks, to get ahead. We're just talking about your research here.
Exactly. Now that we are, to be very clear, we're not suggesting or endorsing this idea that individuals should undergo surgeries or make drastic changes to their appearance. I think this research should be considered as insights into relationships between facial features and CVP, and with the potential applications in improving improving interpersonal judgments
So
and
Shunyuan
business
Zhang,
outcomes.
hold on to that thought. We have to go to commercial break, but we'll be right back. So please don't go away. Welcome back to Empowered. I'm Elizabeth Naumovski. On today's episode, we're discussing artificial intelligence and the relationship between charisma and our facial features. So, Shunyuan, before we went to commercial break, we were talking about different features there were 11 different features, but I understand that there are 6 personality traits. So what led you to identify the 6 personality traits?
Based on their impacts on inferred charisma. And Elizabeth, if you think about the 11 facial features that we were talking about, well, they influence charisma because they influence a set of personality traits in interpersonal judgments. Now, so we did this based on psychology and marketing theories, and we focused on 6 personality traits, as you were describing, in addition to physical attractiveness. And these personality traits are believed to drive charisma. And I'll give an example, generosity. Generosity is considered an important virtue for exemplary leadership and social recognition. So inferred generosity positively impacts inferred charisma.
So, okay, let's go through them though, because I think this is really important. Power, trustworthiness, competence. Let's just go through them all. Aggressiveness and warmth, because it's not just your facial features, it's everything else that's interconnected.
Exactly. And then if you think about other personality traits, for example, you said warmth and trust, both of the personality traits positively impact a CVP or charisma. Now, going back to the facial features, if you have a facial feature, for example, high cheekbones. Why does high cheekbones positively impact CVP? Well, because they increase inferred competence and dominance. And then as a result, it's going to improve your charisma. And if you have a facial features that will help you improve trust and warmth, it will also improve CVP or charisma.
Okay, so that's amazing, because a lot of people put so much importance on looks, but it's so much more. It's such a bigger avenue to look at. So how did you operationalize and measure celebrity visual potential in your study?
Yeah, so starting with the definition, CVP is a visual likelihood of someone becoming a celebrity. So in our study, we operationalize this measure as predicting celebrity status, yes or no, are you a celebrity or not, from facial features. So, and the way that we do it was we started collecting a data set of more than 20,000 face images, combining celebrities and non-celebrities. Mm-hmm. And then we build a machine learning model for accurate predictions. And the face images come from public sources, including multiple research laboratories, IMDb, and social media. And we are able to optimize the machine learning model for predicting celebrity status because in our data, we know the ground truth, meaning we know whether the person is a celebrity or not.
So to what extent did artificial intelligence contribute to the study? And how might technological advancement shape future research in this area?
Thank you for asking that question. I mean, AI is one of my research streams. AI in this study allowed us to analyze facial images at scale, like automatically, and build a data-driven model that help us capture very complex forms of face CVP relationships. And the model delivers a high prediction accuracy. So that's what AI did for us in this study. Now, there are several future advancements, but one of them that I'm personally interested in involves generative AI. I think it'll be fascinating if we can specify CVP scores and then use generative AI to produce faces with targeted charisma levels.
So we have less than a minute before we go to commercial break, but I would like to ask you, what challenges did you encounter in employing this approach?
So I think the top one would be variations in image conditions. Remember, in the data, we have celebrity and non-celebrity images. And it's possible that celebrity images, for example, in general, have a better photography condition, cleaner backgrounds, warmer colors. We don't want our machine learning model to pick up these differences to distinguish a celebrity from a non-celebrity. We want the model to exclusively focus on facial features. So the way we addressed the problem was to standardize images along the non-relevant elements.
Okay, so when we come back, we will talk more about facial features and charisma and how to get ahead with what you've got. Don't go away. Welcome back to Empowered. I'm Elizabeth Naumovski. On today's episode, we're discussing, do certain physical features help people get ahead? So Shunyuan, I want to talk to you about, how does the concept of averageness in facial features contribute to charisma? People might expect that Celebrity Visual Potential CVP is largely attractiveness. Could you just elaborate on the role of attractiveness in charisma and how it compares to other factors in contributing to the overall Celebrity Visual Potential score?
Yeah, so let me start with the definition of averageness. Averageness refers to, in our study, the extent to which a face's features align with the average features of all people of the same gender, race, and age range. Average faces may be inferred as more attractive. But in our study, we find that above and beyond attractiveness, averageness has a negative impact on charisma and on CVP. Now, in terms of the role of attractiveness, it is positive but small. And in fact, we find that the dominant facial features are facial width to height ratio, averageness, and high cheekbones. And facial beauty or attractiveness, in contrast, plays a minor role.
So how did you validate the directions and rankings of facial features in relation to charisma, especially considering the deep learning model used?
Yeah, so on a higher level, we validated our model and the findings in a controlled experiment. So the way we did it was that we randomly selected a group of face images from our data. And then for each image, we used the face morphing technique to create kind of tweaked versions of images by making small changes to one or a few facial features. So it's the same face, but different charisma levels because we made minor adjustments to key facial features. Now we randomly assigned these different versions of face images to 1,000 experiment participants. The idea is that we asked them to rate each face image on charisma. And we wanted to show that, to validate the finding, that the participants' ratings must be consistent with our model predictions, which was what we found in the experiments. So that's the way how we validated.
So what does your research finding tell us about how you define charisma in the context of leadership? And what visual or facial aspects, if there are any, that were captured in the model?
Yeah, so we have some interesting finding in terms of social features in the context of a business leadership. We found was that some social features are more closely associated with charisma in business leadership. And we collected LinkedIn profile images of both C-suite executives and non-C-suite employees of Fortune 500 companies. Mm-hmm. We found was the mean CVP of C-suite executives was more than 4 times that of the average employees. And if we think about when we look at what are the features that were more dominant, more pronounced in C-suite executives as compared to the average employees, we had features like shape of eyes, cheekbones, prominence, facial width to height ratio, and then mouth to nose distance. For this mouth to nose distance, as an example, the C-suite employees on average tend to have a shorter mouth-to-nose distance, which reduced perceptions of aggression and increased perceptions of a focus and a competence. So when you think about this business leadership, yes, there exist differences in CVP and facial features.
Wow, this is fascinating to me. We've got 1 minute before we go to break, but putting it in practice, how can this piece be used? How might professionals such as hiring managers, business leaders, politicians, influencers practically apply the findings of this research in their respective fields?
Some quick thoughts. One, CVP can guide career choices. If you have a better knowledge of your celebrity potential, it can help you better decide whether you want to pursue a celebrity career. Second is, I think brand managers and campaign managers can use CVP for content creation, where filters, makeup, hairstyles could optimize the visual aspect of charisma for brand ambassadors and political candidates. Can also use AI-generated faces using CVP.
So this whole thing of AI generated faces actually scares me a little bit. But when we come back, we'll keep talking about the celebrity features and charisma. So please don't go away. Welcome back to Empowered. I'm Elizabeth Naumovski. On today's episode, I'm joined by Shunyuan Zhang, assistant professor of marketing at Harvard Business School. And she's here to talk about the relationship between charisma and our particular facial features, CVP, which is Celebrity Visual Potential, using AI, artificial intelligence, and opportunities that can change or enhance our image. My gosh, that's a mouthful. So let's begin. Can you share insights into how well the model applies to different contexts?
Yes, I think I just gave some examples. And back to your point earlier, Elizabeth, when you said, this AI can present some scary elements to us. I understand that. And I hope CVP will stand more on the bright side of AI. So one example in different contexts is that we can use CVP to design AI-generated faces in a setting such as advertising, video games, online education, and entertainment. So basically, digital settings where you can improve the charisma of characters and make them more persuasive in interacting with your audience and customers. So that is one. And in digital marketing, companies can also use CVP as one criterion to select partners for brand promotions. Because we've found that content creators with higher CVP than otherwise, even for the same content, they receive more engagement on social media. So CVP can definitely help a digital marketing, manager in terms of selecting who you want to work with.
So my next question, has any business reached out and talked to you about applying the algorithm in their context? Like, what are they and why are they interested?
Yes, so there were several of them. And actually, one very recent conversation that I had was just a month ago, and it was with an Asian cosmetic company. And the company used a staggering 15,000 influencers. So think about how many prospects they processed. And the selection, they came to me because, the selection of persuasive and credible influencers for them was a challenge. So the CEO learned about this CVP model and showed great interest in doing a field experiment to figure out what is the impact or effect of CVP on brand promotions and sales.
So can all of these applications lead to a suboptimal example? If younger generations of women look up to the influencers and try hard to make a high celebrity visual potential, then what are the implications of using the algorithm for their self-confidence? Because I'm worried about self-confidence here.
Yes, I think we talked about this very briefly at the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the last thing we want to see is this kind of a suboptimum, that creates some ethical issues in our society. And again, to clarify, we're not endorsing the idea that people should make drastic changes to their appearance. The focus is that we should think about this research findings as relationships between facial features and charisma, with potential, implications for how we enhance interpersonal judgments and business outcomes. And I think, remember, while the AI model aims to objectively assess certain facial features, remember, beauty standards are subjective. So it's crucial to approach the applications with sensitivity all the time. And thank you for asking this question, Elizabeth, because I believe that ethical considerations must be a top priority when applying any technology, not just the CVP algorithm, and should be in the minds of all of us.
So we have 30 seconds left. I just want to find out what surprised you the most personally when you did this study?
Oh, I'm sorry, could you say again?
What surprised you the most when you personally did this study? Like what shocked you about it?
So I think I'll give you one example given the time constraint. I think it was the differential roles of facial features across gender and the racial groups. For example, this high cheekbone relationship with charisma, the association is stronger for female than for males. And the reason might be that high cheekbones could help counter the biased inference on competence against the women. So, and there are other examples of how the facial features play roles differently across demographic groups.
Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
I'm Elizabeth Naumovski, and I'm here to empower you and make frugality fashionable. Thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.